Hello again. As regular viewers will be aware, I've been suspended from YouTube on more than one occasion, and this is very irritating. Because I don't have to pay for using YouTube, it's provided as a free service for users. I don't really think I can complain too much about it though. It struck me during my most recent ban that many people don't understand the mechanics of the process whereby YouTube suspends or removes permanently accounts. And so I thought I might talk a little about how this happens. The first thing to bear in mind, of course, is that YouTube is a commercial company. That is to say, the object of its existence is to make money for those who run it. It's not a charitable endeavour being run as a public service, nor is it an ideological movement designed to spread any particular brand of politics or philosophy across the world, nor is it, as I've seen some people suggest, part of some Jewish conspiracy. It's a business. With that out of the way, let's ask ourselves why they have policies on hate speech, medical misinformation and so on, and how and why they enforce these policies. All social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter and Facebook are under constant threat by various governments, including both the British and American administrations, of being brought under control and regulated by the state. Forget for a moment how difficult this would be. The fact is that warnings are always being given that government control will be imposed if Facebook and YouTube are unable or unwilling to keep their own house in order. This might not be a practical proposition. Controlling the internet is all but impossible in the Western world, but the American government could certainly make life difficult, that is to say less profitable for Facebook or YouTube. There are things such as taxes and so on which could be used and that would eat into profits. The British government sometimes hints at similar action. It is this, rather than any real desire to clean up their act, which causes social media platforms to publish strict guidelines and threaten to throw people off their sites if they say the wrong things. Facebook recently suspended someone's account because the person had used the word fags and it triggered an algorithm. Fags is a slang expression in Britain for cigarettes, but in the United States it's a pejorative term for male homosexuals, and so it's forbidden on Facebook. There's been a lot of similar cases lately of that sort of thing happening. By acting in this way, Facebook hopes to persuade governments which are looking askance at them that they take what is known these days as things like hate speech seriously. They, like YouTube, claim to have zero tolerance for things such as abuse directed against homosexuals and also any false information being spread about the COVID-19 virus. Which leads me, of course, naturally to the reason that I was unable to upload anything on this channel for a fortnight. Because I had been found guilty of medical misinformation, I was punished. I thought this was manifestly unfair, obviously, because I had done no more than provide details of the World Health Organisation's advice on the use of face masks, and also gave links to a couple of peer-reviewed journal articles warning of the hazards of not washing that kind of faceware regularly. Something which several viewers have noticed and mentioned to me is that there are plenty of channels on YouTube which actively promote crank cures for COVID-19 and are not being suspended, and they wonder why these are being tolerated when they came down so hard on me. I have even found channels on YouTube which are claiming to be able to cure cancer, which is actually illegal in Britain. The 1939 Cancer Act says, and I quote, "Nobody, including limited companies, shall publish any advertisement, meaning a notice, circular, label, wrapper or other document, or any announcement made orally or by any means of producing or transmitting sounds aimed at the public, offering to treat anyone for cancer, to prescribe any treatments for the disease, or to give advice in connection to cancer treatment. Now, I'm sure that, like me, viewers have seen stuff on YouTube and elsewhere which does that very thing and offers vitamins, magnets, diets and all kinds of things which will apparently help treat cancer. YouTube doesn't seem to worry about that kind of thing at all. There's no real mystery here. The fact is that YouTube will only remove a channel or ban people if somebody complains to them and draws their attention to something which they find objectionable. This is where I'm in rather a vulnerable position because I have made myself quite unpopular in some circles with the things that I say. And there are a dozen or more people who watch this channel with the sole purpose of being upset and offended by what I say. I'm not going to mention any names here, but I don't want to pillory anybody that comments. But there's a guy of Sri Lankan heritage who was a founder member of the Black Police Officers Association and is now a professional advisor on race relations, what some of us call a race grifter. He has a connection with Portsmouth University and runs no fewer than 3 Twitter accounts. On one of these, he boasted that he complains to YouTube about every single video which I put up. I mean, personally, if I don't like a YouTube channel, I give it a wide berth, but there you are. Observant viewers will notice that whatever topic I cover, even if it's something as innocuous and dull as the origin of the law on habeas corpus, at least 15 or 20 people will give it a thumbs down. Do they really disapprove strongly of my discussing such obscure matters as the Assize of Clarendon in 1166 and its connection with habeas corpus? Of course not. They are determined to show that they are there and are opposed to my presence on YouTube. This explains why I get banned from time to time. It's not some sinister plot by YouTube or those who control it to silence me. It's simply that they get regular complaints about me and sometimes ban me just to show how on the ball they are about things like medical misinformation and hate speech. I'm sure that I could get people suspended if I put my mind to it by complaining all the time about their channels, but really I've got better things to do with my time.